Let's make history. So the House passed a bill to quote unquote ban TikTok, but that's not all this proposed bill does, but it is on its way to the Senate. And this began with really Steve Mnuchin, who was the Secretary of the Treasury in the Trump administration, not for the entire term, but for the bulk of it. And he was part of a committee that looked into things of this matter. And he was the one that brought it to the attention of Trump, who was the first one to bring this thing to light, that the company that owns the bulk of TikTok is a Chinese company. And because it's a Chinese company, the Chinese government has access to all it does, which is a reality. Microsoft attempted to buy TikTok, but it fell through. Now, the situation has bubbled all that time, but now it's come to a head, and Steve Mnuchin all of a sudden has announced that he's putting together a consortium of investors to buy TikTok. Now, that seems suspect. I don't support the ban, me personally. First, let's acknowledge that the Chinese government, as well as ByteDance, which is the Chinese company, they have already said that if Congress passes this into law, that they will not completely give up all that TikTok amounts to. It's not just about TikTok. What TikTok actually is the algorithm, the highly sophisticated algorithm to produce and to disseminate viral content. Also, there's the software. So you have different things at play that make TikTok what it is. Even if this goes through, you're not going to get that full package, so it won't be TikTok as we know it. Also, the way the bill is constructed, it's very fuzzy as to what powers the president, the federal government would have over other social media apps. See, this thing is not just about TikTok. So this is opening up a can of worms, so to speak.
You know, my concern has always been with the centralization of power, with giving up power. I don't care whether it's a Republican or a Democrat president.
Amen.
I don't want any president to have the power to ban apps that are sold on an app store. And that's essentially what this is going to happen. Now, the company that owns TikTok also owns something like TikTok that is censored. It's called Douyin. It's the Chinese TikTok. But they don't have a member of the board of ByteDance. They don't control ByteDance. And the data is now kept in Oracle Cloud, centered in Texas. We can't sort of emulate the Chinese to try to protect our way of life, becoming like the Chinese and banning things. TikTok is banned in China. They don't have TikTok. They have a censored version in China that the Chinese government does control. But the thing is everybody wants the government to be the parent. They're like, oh, my teenagers, they've got phones and they're on all this stuff. I just can't deal with it. Will you help me by taking stuff off of there?
A large percentage is owned by a guy who's a mega donor, a wealthy Republican mega donor named Jeff Yass. And it's being said that people such as Senator Rand Paul and even Donald Trump himself has reversed, well, not Rand Paul, but Donald Trump has reversed their position on TikTok, and he has donated, from what I understand, to Rand Paul as well, to the tune of millions of dollars. So you have to factor that in. So ByteDance owns 60% of TikTok. You have the international investors, the employees. A couple thousand of the employees own a significant amount of the stock, and then 20% is owned by the Chinese creators of TikTok itself. And truth be told, Chinese companies, Chinese business are inextricably linked with the American economy. People have spoke about possibly decoupling with China, but that would change the face of American consumer life as we know it. So let's not kid ourselves. Plenty of businesses in America, especially there are people, quite a few people in Congress who are affiliated and who own businesses and entities that are highly connected with China. So why just TikTok? Even if you did ban TikTok, it's not like the Chinese government wouldn't have access to American data via all these other business ventures out there that are heavily tied in with China. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to Will Flores TV on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X.